All right, guys, and we're live and we're rolling. Episode number 6 of the Kaizai podcast. Two very, very, very special guests, very good friends of mine, family friends, I must say, from a very long time. Both Bali kids, I must say, born and raised on the island as well as myself. This is a long episode overdue, but these two are busy motherfuckers. Like they are doing stuff. They're changing the world. They're on it, so they gotta be left out for their schedule. So I'm glad you guys came. Thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to me. Before we get into you guys, just gotta do some quick shout outs for the podcast. You know the routine. Thank you to our sponsors, Kura beer, one of the best beers in Bali. Use the code KAIZAI, 10% off all can orders. And if you want actually a brewery tour of their brewery on the island, 25% off with the code KAIZAI. So be sure to do that. All the links will be in the description. Shout out to Mason Chocolates. Today we have another product preview. This is 85% cocoa dark chocolate, which is used for cooking. So anything you want to cook with chocolate, it's vegan, it's organic, it's fucking delicious. So if you love chocolate, this is your stuff. Links will be in the description. This is actually going to be a gift for you guys later. So if you want to go home and cook some chocolate, this is for you. But right now it's on the table for product placement. We're on Spotify. We're on Buzzsprout. So if you're at the gym, if you're on the plane and you want to listen to the best podcast in Indonesia, links in the description. Short clips from TikTok will be posted. All that good stuff. Everything in the description. You know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe. So guys, let's hop straight into it. Gary and Melati, thank you so much for coming on. I said that before, but it's an absolute pleasure. So just a quick introduction of who you guys are, if the viewers don't already know. So you guys are born and raised here in Bali, but I'm going to let you guys individually explain what you kind of do right now in life and the amazing people you guys are.
Okay, cool. Who wants to go first?
we got the eco water power couple. So it's their first preview as an online duo.
Yes, so we're kind of still figuring out who takes the first question, who goes first, who goes there. I can kick it off. I was born and raised on the island of Bali. I'm half Dutch, half Indonesian, 20-year-old full-time change maker. My journey started at 12 years old, though, when I started.
I remember. Back in school, she was already on the grind, changing the world. It was all started there.
I know. I'm like, how long do we actually know each other? Like,
we know each other for a long time,
exactly.
like a long time. Maybe like even like 10 years, I could say. Yeah.
I know. Look at us now. Here we are. But yeah, it's been a long journey focusing on plastic pollution with my first organization, Bye Bye Plastic Bags. And we're now a global community in 50 locations around the world. And that's now moving on to my newest and latest company, focusing on youth empowerment through education. So that's what I'm focusing on.
Wow. Cool. Can you live up to that? I think you can.
Yeah, well, no, I can't. I mean, yes, oftentimes everybody keeps on asking, like, how do we meet? Well, we met, actually I was shooting a video about her and about her amazing work. I founded Make a Change, which is our media organization. Also grew up on the island of Bali. Yep. A little bit older than you guys.
We know each other for a long time as well, just from mutual friends. Good friend with your brother as well, who's another legend. We'll go into a little thing he did as well, because he's doing some really cool shit as well.
Exactly, but now more recently been focusing on protecting our waterways and rivers on Bali. 90% of plastic pollution in the ocean comes from rivers and streams. So we're really out every single day. We just came back from a cleanup.
And he's going to one after this as well. Straight from the podcast to the rivers. He's going to the office. His office is the rivers. So he's on it. He's making changes, man, left, right, and center. So yeah, that's a little quick thing of the organizations you have. So let's start off with Bye Bye Plastic Bags, to say, because that was the first thing you did. I actually remember. Didn't you even think of that at school? Back in the day, it was some kind of like project. I swear you had the idea already.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. No? It didn't start off as a school project. It was just like, growing up here, it wasn't rocket science. You could see plastic pollution everywhere.
Just the lack of education.
Well, not only the lack of education, definitely it contributes to that, but if you look at the systemic changes that are needed, the reason why plastic is ending up everywhere is because the system doesn't provide a collection service, there's no separation service, so the overall waste management system here in Bali
doesn't exist.
It's not here. And so when you ask people, what do you do with your plastic? It's either burning it, burying it, burning it. Yeah. Right?
Or it just ends up in the sea. They just once they throw it, they're like, okay, that's not me. It goes away. I don't see it anymore. That's not my problem.
Out of sight, out of mind. Right?
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. That's the whole short-minded problem with plastic pollution. We don't think about the consequences at a long term.
Yeah. And the first time you ever started this, I remember it was only... Sorry, getting a phone call. That's my bad. How long ago, when you first had the idea of Bye Bye Plastic Bags, did actually the plastic ban come? Because now, because of you, I'm going to say thank you so much. In all retail stores, or what do you call Alpha Marts, Indo Marts, Mini Marts, all these high-end retail stores, Canggu Delis, all the basically shops that sell stuff you need are actually banned plastic right now, and that's because of this amazing woman right here. So shout out to you. I couldn't thank you enough. That the island of gods is being changed because of you. How long ago did that come after you had the idea of Bye Bye Plastic Bags?
Well, we were 10 and 12 when we started the organization, and I think we were like 18 I was 18 when the ban came into place.
Okay.
So 2019, the ban officially came into place here on Bali. It's on paper, signature and stamp, but obviously...
in Indonesia, that only goes so far.
I was going to say, obviously, the implementation there's a lot of work to do. So that's 100%. Why we're still here. And we're still doing.
But hey, it's doing good. It's doing good. So shout out to you. And then Mr. Gary now swiftly swifting over with Sungaiwatch. So you started Make a Change first, right?
Right. Yeah. So Make a Change was like a kids youth or environmental movement to clean up the beaches. We started 11 years ago. Every week we choose a different beach.
Nice.
And then really quickly found out, that after a beach cleanup, that next day more trash coming in. So you're not doing anything. You're just like literally sweeping the floor in good faith, but not doing anything.
Not
really.
making it,
And you have to really, go to the source if you're going to make a change. Banning plastic bags, that's going to the source.
That's straight to the source, yeah.
So for us, we saw that power of rivers. And so, about 4 years ago, I went on my first big expedition down the Mississippi River on a boat made from 800 plastic bottles.
Nice.
That was an epic adventure inspired by Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn. That next summer, we went down the most polluted river in the world.
This is in Jakarta, right?
In Indonesia,
I remember.
The Citarum River on 2 plastic bottle kayaks. And that was like the most horrific thing anybody can experience. Like literally the destruction of mankind is right there.
It's right there in your face, like just physical proof.
And I think after that trip, I just wanted to pilot and do things to basically prevent this plastics from going to the ocean. So we've been working with trash barriers that we've been piloting. We have about 8 models that we tested over the course of the last year. And now we have 3 that we're really looking to scale. So we have 35 barriers on Bali and South Bali, protecting from Dreamland all the way to Tanah Lot.
Nice. I see them every time I drive there. Really, where did you get that idea from? Was it one of your creations, or did you work with a team and you worked with people online and you overall came to this design, or was it something you actually physically came up with?
So we've been working with different partnerships and projects and organizations in the space. There's a lot of existing trash barriers out there.
Yeah, so you kind of modified it to the best possible.
Exactly. It's been a refinement of learning which model works the best, and then we've come up with 3 designs, which are fully original designs right now.
If we can pop a picture up on the screen for the viewers, because it is a lovely creation. It's sick. I remember coming on the cleanup in Umalas with the little shortcut. I think that's the first time I saw one of them, not the actual big metal one. I came to the HQ when you did that talk. That's when I saw the proper big one. But there's also that one with the rope you have as well. That's
so that's a floater made from PVC pipes. PVC, is a material that's super easy to find all throughout the world. So the idea is localized solutions that can be highly scalable. Like
perfect.
We want to spend as less money and like less resource. Like a village in let's say Borneo or Sumatra could be making these barriers.
Exactly, and it helps the locals as well with money and everything, for sure. Nice. What would you say right now in Bali is the dirtiest river? Is there one river that stands out the most out of all your data collection and projects?
Definitely. The most polluting river in Bali is the Badung River that goes right at the heart of Denpasar, with the highest population density. Like so many villages in Denpasar. There's starting to be, I think Denpasar is on the map, has the better waste management structure.
I actually wouldn't think that because of this house in the city and everything. But
the city of Denpasar and the mayor...
they kind of have to lead by example.
I was going to say, I think that's why.
Yeah, they have to lead by example.
The capital city of Bali.
So if they weren't doing anything, it would look pretty bad.
But they've been really leading the fight. Like they were the first ones to ban plastic bags, at a market level. They're the first ones to impose waste management at the household level. But unfortunately, there's a huge gap. There's banjars next, and then literally you'll have where everything's fully running, and then the next banjar.
It would just be completely nothing.
Exactly, and so many people, unfortunately, in Bali, because of lack of waste management, are throwing it in the back of their houses, and then as soon as it rains.
That's the problem. Rainy season, I saw what you guys were doing with that. Where was that in Dreamland? That where you did that massive cleanup where literally you couldn't even see the water on the river. It was just plastic, and then you cleaned all that up, and then the next day it was just gone back again. With all the rubbish. The rainy season here, because of the lack of I don't know, what do you call it? The sewage systems and all that stuff. They're not built properly already. And then once you get the plastic involved, it's even worse. It's just
clogs it all up, and then
exactly, just it's completely fucked.
I mean, if you look at the amount of flooding that is happening all around Indonesia, you know, like
Umalas, it's so bad as well.
So much of Bali has been built on, like, I want to build a villa here, so I'll build this gang. I'm not even thinking, like back in the days when you used to build a house, you would need to get the Pekase's approval. The Pekase is the head of the subak. At every desa level, you have a Pekase, like it's typically an elderly man that's worked for government, and now all of a sudden, you know, people are just building with no building
permits, all that, and all those white villas.
And the water table of Bali, in terms of, you know, how much water we have left in the ground is really at risk.
Yeah, like it's and Bali's built on rice fields, and all that is water management, right? It's all perfectly planned and created for it to be farmed and to have these beautiful rice fields. And then the one villa just plonks itself in the middle, like you says, and just fucks everything up. And then, no offense to Finns, but there's that big water park there, like it just drains all the water, like, you know, like it uses a lot of water. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't even seen one fucking person in that water park, and I live on that street, and it's been like 3 years since it's built. Like, sorry, Finns, but your water management could be used to better par, in my opinion. What would you say for Sungaiwatch right now before we hop back to you? I'm trying to balance it out equally here. What would you say so far as an organization, Sungaiwatch, it has been your biggest victory so far as an organization? I'm going to pop this beer open quickly as well.
I think Dreamland definitely was a really good success, a milestone for us. You know, cleaning that big lagoon, it was 3,000 cubic meters of plastics entirely clogged in a 200-meter stretch river. Cleaning it up in 4 days, and that blowing up on social media to get us even more leverage to scale this project. That would be the biggest achievement so far, but really, I think setting up our barriers and scaling that up. Our goal this year, for example, would be to make sure that every single river in West Bali and in East Java has a trash barrier. So there's never, ever again a plastic tide that would come into Kuta or Jimbaran, and we would save, you know, millions of dollars for the tourism sector.
Sector, animal sector, environment sector, everything. It's just there's no bad thing coming with that. You know what I mean? Like it's pros and no cons at all. But yeah, that's an amazing goal, man. I'm sure you will smash that like you have been doing. Like, I remember you only started Sungaiwatch not that long ago, right? When was it first started?
About a year and a half ago.
And you've already come so far. To see you like the HQ you have, the organization you have behind it, the partners you now have behind it. It's an amazing organization, bro. I just want to give you a shout out.
And I'm here like, oh my god, my dream guy.
That's what I mean. Like, these two, the universe brought them together. Like, you can't ask for anything more here. Like, come on. So now let's hop on to the little Youthtopia now that you're doing. I saw that. I drove past your nice little thing in Paranan. It looks really nice with the old shipping containers and stuff. Looks really sick.
Thank you.
So shout out to that. So quick little brief intro into what Youthtopia is and your vision, mission, and aim. Let's say for it.
Youthtopia, yeah. I mean,
it's called Youthtopia, right?
It's called Youthtopia.
I was like, fuck. Did I say it wrong?
It is Youthtopia. Okay. And, you know, I mean, 7 years with Bye Bye Plastic Bags, starting at 12 years old, you know, flying around the world, having that immense privilege to meet and speak with over 200,000 students.
Insane.
Literally in all corners of the world. And it didn't matter where we were, what background these kids came from. When we shared the story of Bye Bye Plastic Bags, they would come up to us and ask, how can I do what you do? Yeah. And they're asking that because currently the traditional education system isn't providing them with outside of the box skills. You know, it's teaching you to be in a factory. It teaches you to raise your hand up, talk when I'm not talking, line up, do this, do that. Memorize what's being put on the board, study for the exams and get a straight A, you know, and it doesn't encourage us to ask bigger questions. Or change the world or do what you have, follow your passion. Or to implement, you know, solutions that are at our fingertips. Think more bigger. So I think outside the box. Think outside the box. And that's where Youthtopia comes in. We're a community-centric platform with learning at its core. We work together with other frontline young change makers, so young kids that have incredible projects, a track record of change, something that they were able to achieve. Their initiative. And we show this as through programs so that other kids who are, you know, starting to ask the right questions, wanting to make a change but not knowing how, have a platform. Youthtopia. Changing the education system. I see. Going straight to the core again. Fucking amazing. Amazing. There's going to be wonderful things that come from that. So how old is it right now? Well, we launched in 2020 as well. 2020, okay. Yeah. So your year in year. It's kind of like, you know, the year where everyone was like, I think 2019, we saw the rise of young people all around the world. That's where we all went to the streets. We, you know, started to find our voice as a generation. And then 2020, we thought, okay, what's next? And I really believe Youthtopia is that long-term answer.
Oh, definitely. I already see the vision.
You know, but it was kind of like interesting because Sungaiwatch started in 2020, Youthtopia started in 2020, and then this whole pandemic and
I started in 2020.
So, you know, there's definitely, I think, a movement and a growth in the movement of heading in the right direction.
Definitely.
There's still so much work
There's
to
still
do.
so much to go. But hey, you can only start off with that first step, you know, and then it all goes from there. So yeah, hop back to Bye Bye Plastic Bag. Sorry, you traveled around the world, like you said, to conferences. You've met fucking politicians. You've met incredible people. How do you share a little bit on that? Like, who's been the most significant individuals you have met through your journey in Bye Bye Plastic Bag so far, from an international perspective?
Where do I start? I mean, it's been absolutely insane. Like, reflecting on what has happened in these last few years, especially in the last 3 years, has been just unbelievable. You know, we've been to the UN headquarters, at the General Assembly, addressing world leaders. We've been at the World Economic Forum in Davos. We actually went together.
Where's Davos?
Switzerland. Yes, and it's pretty much like, I learned about it, I think, when I was 15 years old, and I was like, oh my God,
I'm gonna go there.
You know, and it was because the vision of the World Economic Forum and bringing, you know, being private sector and then facilitating this platform where world leaders come together. I thought that's the place where change happens, you know. And then I finally got to go, and I experienced it. And at the end of the conference, I was still like, okay, what's next? What are we gonna do now? You know, after the 4-day conference, you know, with a lot of discussions, how are we going to measure what we do? And that's the most frustrating thing. So I've met a lot of incredible people. I've met a lot of like incredible stages, but I think at the end of the day, the people that inspire me the most are the ones that go out there in the field and just do it.
Just do it. That's the thing. You can go to all these conferences, you can be a part of it, you can post wherever the fuck you want to post on social media, but the actual change and the actual benefit comes from doing and getting your hands dirty. And that's what, like, his office is literally a fucking river full of plastic and shit. You know what I mean? And he's fucking doing it hands in, and that's what makes a difference at the end of the day. So yeah, definitely 100%. So there wasn't one individual that you met, let's say, that really was like, wow, like, I made it, and like, I don't know, it was a great, you're gonna have the memory forever, and you're not one individual comes to mind?
I mean, a lot of individuals, like, for me, mostly it's the young people that I connect with.
The young ones who are changing.
You know, I remember, like, after a conference that I did to, like, 3,000 students in one go, and I thought, oh my God, it's a gymnasium of, like, teenagers that are falling asleep in the back, you know, and I was like, oh, nobody's listening. But then, like, the strangest thing happened after the presentation. One guy, I could see him, like, there was a line of students asking, you know, general questions or follow-up stuff, or like, can I follow you on Instagram?
Just an extra.
But there was, like, this one kid at the back, and he was just waiting patiently until everybody left, and his teacher was like, okay, everybody out, and he was like, wait, I just have to come, and I just have to say how, like, touched and inspired I am. I wanna build a project as well, you know. And I think those moments
show you.
Yeah, because that's also, like, I think what our journey has become at the end of the day. With Bye Bye Plastic Bags, simply, like, we've become a living example that kids can do things. They see us in them.
Exactly. You're giving them that role model to look up to. Like, if you can do it, I can do it.
Exactly. And Youthtopia is all about scaling that up a little bit more, not just on
as an organization, so people can go, like a school base. It's a new education, but not a school. Not a school, but you know what I mean. A better evolved school, which we should be fucking going to and using in the future. So it could be a start to a whole new education system. Hopefully, I think it will be. 100%. So for both your organizations, two challenges you both have hit, the most hard challenges as leaders in your realms of organizations have you come across, and how did you overcome them?
I think for me, you know, it's like going and having success. You know, you just clean the river. So Dreamland, we just cleaned Dreamland, and then the next day, boom,
straight away
comes back.
Fuck that much. See, that's where it would start getting to me. You know, you do all that fucking work, and then it's just back like that. That just shows though the scale of how fucked the problem is.
I think if you look at that, you know, you start thinking like, the change is not going to happen overnight. Like everybody uses plastics on an everyday basis. You know, we all have potentially plastics in our stomachs. We've all ingested it.
Definitely.
You know, by 2050, more plastics than fish. We know the stats, but it's not. Change is going to happen very, very slowly. And
but slow and steady wins the race.
And it's about knowing that, you know, this is a lifetime's it's going to be a lifetime's fight, and it's going to be all about perseverance. And so even in the lows, like you need to stay positive, you need to think long term. And I think, part of the young change makers out there nowadays, oftentimes they think short term. They want to go out on a mission. They want to have high impact results, but
they
when
want
you're
rewards straight
when
away.
When you're dealing with such a big issue, like, plastic pollution is one of them, but like it's going to take years and years and years and years to radically improve the way that our rivers look in Indonesia and how plastic pollution is impacting our environment. So we're here for the long term.
We're here for the long term.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's the thing with our generation right now. It's with everything they do when it comes to business as well, with anything, they want their reward straight away. Like back in the day, people worked and grind, and then they didn't want anything fast. And that comes from technology and social media. We want everything at our fingertips straight away. We expect it all there. So I really think like that's what you said. They're thinking short term instead of thinking long term, especially with projects like this where you need to change the world. It's not going to come overnight at all. Like it's impossible, because if it did, it would already been done. That's why people don't do it, because they don't get their reward straight away. This is a long-term thing, 100%.
Right. But I think, keeping positive.
No, go. It's good.
Keeping positive on the fact that like you cherish the successes, and when there is a success, you have to celebrate properly.
I think that's a lesson that I learned the hard way, because I would kind of argue the fact that like, yes, our generation, demands almost, or like just wants to see that short-term, like right now impact. But that's simply because we feel the urgency that no previous generation has ever felt before. Everything, good or bad, will happen in our lifetime, and we have to decide, and we get to decide that. But currently our decisions and actions on a daily basis right now are not leading us to a future that we should be proud of.
They're not up to par at all.
So that's where I feel like, yes, it is a long-term lifetime journey. However, especially with bioplastic bags, for example, it shouldn't have taken 6 years to ban one single-use item. The country as a whole has a goal to reduce 70% of waste.
70 or 17?
70.
Okay.
Percent
I was going to say.
of waste by 2025. We have 4 years left, and how are we reaching that? What are the goals? Do we see them, changing today to be able to reach that goal in the next 4 years? No. So I think that's like where my frustration challenge sits as like a frustrated young change maker. Yes, change is not happening fast enough, but yes, it will take a lifetime, but we don't have that luxury of time.
It's true.
So it's like it's a kind of not a chicken and egg thing. It's just we need to get our priorities straight.
It's true. Instead of fucking, well, we can make a list this long of what the government's doing wrong. You know what I mean? But that's why amazing people like you exist, and Youthtopia, I'm sure, will be the spark to that and reduce that 4 year time frame and that 70%. So well done to that. It's inspiring to me, honestly. I don't know like what to say, because there's all these people around the world who have this amount of money and this amount of fame and all this, and they're not doing what they can do as well. You know what I mean? With the platform they have. So for two individuals yourself who's just done it out of pure love and pure passion to make that change, it's inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
And you as well have met the president of Indonesia, both of you, or just?
No, I'm not there yet.
No, there you go. He's got his one up on that one. So if anything goes wrong, you know who to call. No, but how was that? Go into that, because that's a big thing, of course. Like to meet the president of the country you're trying to make the change in is definitely a fucking milestone.
No, definitely, and I think
go into that a little bit. That'd be great.
It came right after the cheetah room, the most polluted river. Once we paddled down it on 2 plastic bottle kayaks. Those videos went very viral. 2 weeks after, we met the Ministry of Environment for the first time, and he was like, "We're gonna launch an emergency cleanup plan," and we're like, "What?" Like our message was actually heard. And then 4 months later, we meet the Indonesian president.
So they came to you. You didn't plan anything to try to get to him. He came to you. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And so Jokowi launched the Cheetah Room Harum, which was the full cleanup of the most polluted river in the world, to deploy 7,000 military troops to clean it up. And so at the launching ceremony, got to spend a couple minutes with him privately, like nobody else.
No, of course, yeah.
Which was really, really great. But this is 3 years in the midst of this cleanup.
Did you say anything to him where you're like?
Well, obviously, like, we're...
There's like a funny clip of Gary, like, kind of, because he was having his camera with him and he like recorded, and you can see Gary's feet, and Gary's like talking, Bapak President. Super nervous.
Of course, it's a fucking president, though. And it's like, that's your time to say one thing, that could make a fucking difference.
But I love how like human it is, because it's like, that's like, at the end of the day, it's someone that is in a position of power, and this is like
definitely.
your moment to like, get the message across.
I mean, I feel like, right now, after a couple years of thought and reflection, I think I would say something else. We're trying to meet with him again.
Definitely. It will happen.
She'll
get it right. She'll do it.
I think that if we manage to succeed our goal, that's going to have huge repercussions for Indonesia as a whole to be this frontline fighter for plastic pollution in our rivers. So
I think if it starts in Bali, the rest of the world will definitely follow through, because Bali already has such a good name and eye towards it. Of like how popular the island is. It's the #1 tourist destination voted 2021. So everyone knows what Bali is. Everyone wants to come to Bali. Everyone looks at Bali. Everyone wants to be involved with Bali. So if you guys are already doing it and they show that and it starts in Bali, I think it will just be the spark to Southeast Asia, and then boom, 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 domino effect. So we just got to keep going and keep pushing. And do you have his number on your phone, the president?
I do not, but I have some of his.
Not yet. That's the answer. Not yet. So, like you said, we're going to tap back into the education system a little bit, because what I personally believe is it all stems from education. Because especially here, they don't have that knowledge, and it kind of is argued that you can't really blame an individual for something they think is normal, because some people growing up every day and, I don't know, using drugs or throwing plastic in the ocean, for them that might be normal because their parents did it, or the community they live in is surrounded by that issue or that problem, and they don't know anything better. Humans are only grown up to or live how they live because that's the environment they live in. That's what they know is right. So how do you think we could tackle that issue through education systems in Bali? Like, you guys for sure already have implemented little projects, into local schools and stuff. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that, how you tapped into the local education system to try stem that change?
Yeah, so I think I can go multiple ways with this.
There's no one.
But also, I can talk days about education because that's where it all starts, right? Change happens in the classroom. Again, to your point, if people don't understand what the problem is, they will not be able to contribute to the solution.
Exactly.
But I'm also very cautious about how we bring in the narrative of education, because it's often the first step and the only step. If you talk to government, one of their biggest pillars is behavior change.
Okay.
Then change the curriculum.
Yeah.
Change what kids are learning 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, you know? Or 7 hours a day. I was at school, a long time out of it. But anyway, that's where they're spending all of their time. So why aren't they talking about the environment? So I think changing the mindset, it starts in education. For example, bioplastic bags, because we were a group of students starting it, we knew the power and the potential of
that impact.
Other young people. And so we've created 2 educational booklets in the local language and distributed over almost 10,000 booklets now at this stage.
Yep.
Workshops on the daily basis. But, once people know about the problem, they're often triggered to be part of the solution. Yeah. Asking questions. But if there are no solutions that are accessible to them, it's one day that they're passionate about it. The next day, still passionate about it, but next week they forgot about it. And what can I do? Yeah. So the momentum is there. The building has been there. There's a boiling of the population in Bali. Yeah. But if we do not provide them with accessible solutions, a systemic
they
change,
won't stay apart. It's true. It's very true.
Where do we go next?
Well said. Yeah.
And then you fall into a deeper hole of there's nothing I can do. And that's the scariest part of a movement like what we do. When people start losing hope because there's nothing I can do, there is no solution available to me, so it's not only education. I think it is education. That's, I think, the role of grassroots organizations, leading by example, providing showing those solutions and inspiring, and then it's really implementing that change on a systemic level.
As well as, I think, like with Indonesia particularly, they always look up to these influencers or these famous people in their industry from Jakarta and whatnot. So if you get those specific people involved and lead by example as well, like that also would make a significant change, what I'm sure you guys are doing.
100%. I think even on Bali, more so like community leaders. We work with a lot of high priests in each of the villages that we work in.
Yeah, perfect.
And they bring in the educational aspect through religion. Yeah,
because they look up to it. Yeah, they have the key to that knowledge as well. Those individuals, certainly in Bali.
And so I think that's a good way of doing it. But for us, we're doing it through physical action of being on the river. No, perfect. It's an experience. You get on the river, you start to. It's different to beach cleanup, which is way more symbolic.
It's more chill as well, like, you know, like beach cleanup. Like people, I don't know, it's become over the years like, oh, let's go to the beach cleanup, you know what I mean? But people aren't actually like, they're just saying there to post a story, you know, like, oh, I'm at the beach cleanup or some shit. Where
on
if
a
you
clean
actually,
beach.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe a couple, you know, because the
Three pieces
hotel
of
That's what I
or the
mean.
restaurant in front already cleaned
Exactly,
up.
but if you're getting into the river, like that actually shows you it. I don't know, it sparks something in your head. Where like, fuck, like, you know, like, look, it's bad.
I mean, you see the true reality of the problem in a very different way. You see the sensory experience, you know, the smells. You see plastic floating, whatnot. But you know, so many people in this new generation, you know, have never been to rivers. They haven't been to the river. The river in Indonesia is considered the garbage dump. Yeah. And the how do you want to change that mindset and that mentality? So it needs to be, you know, heavy socialization, so education, number one. But in the midst of the pandemic, you know, it's tricky. So
it's very hard.
You have to limit the group sizes. You have to do like we're doing 2 or 3 educational programs per day, but that's not enough. You know, it's never going to get to the scale.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
So
what I was going to do is with my initiative I did is Bali Cup. So with football, I actually want to do with the next Bali Cup, I want to get you guys involved for a fundraiser. So all the funds we get, I want to give towards you guys as well. What I do is to Soul Men. So the last Bali Cup I did was a football tournament for charity. All winnings go to Soul Men Charity, which are helping people during COVID, like families and individuals who actually have no money at the moment in Bali. So I would love to get you guys involved in the next one, which I'm hopefully planning for April maybe. Just waiting on Fins to get the all clear for COVID. Like, I see all these big corporations open in offices and everything, and then I can't do a football tournament for charity where it's physical exercise outside. It's ridiculous, you know. But time will tell. So yeah, the next one will get you guys involved and get some proceedings and funds to you guys. Is the least I can do. So we'll help, you know, give back,
awesome,
give back. So we're gonna go into something that I saw on your Instagram through Sungaiwatch. With you actually called out and did statistic data based on who are the top plastic polluters. So there was Danone was one of them. Danone, Wings something.
Wings Surya.
Siantar.
Siantar.
And then PT Santos.
Santos,
So what are those companies? I've never heard of them before. What do they manufacture? We're gonna shout them out and we're gonna say fuck you guys. We're gonna put them on the spot here. So what actually are they? I've never heard of these companies before. Seen them. Okay. What do they produce?
So basically, you know, Sungaiwatch is a very data-driven organization. We're fully focused on the data side of seeing plastics. One of the biggest problems that, you know, there isn't data available out there to actually know what are the flaws in waste management. So that's what we're doing basically from the river. And in this first report that you just listed, Danone, obviously they own Aqua.
Okay, so Aqua.
So
Aqua,
Danone,
so all the Aqua bottles, okay.
And Aqua.
See how they hide their names there? There's like, it's actually one company, but they name is something else.
so you know, in this report we have almost 400 different individual brands, but then you have the parent companies that will own the brands. And so that second one, Wings Surya, owns like Mi Sedap.
Okay, so
that's all of the instant noodles. Indo Food is actually not on that list. They're number 6, so
they're still there though. If you're top 10, you're doing something wrong.
And then then you have like all of the ABC copies as well. Other subsidiaries. So all of those guys we're finally speaking to now.
Okay,
which is great. They've approached us.
They approach you guys.
And now it's all about how can we create some synergies.
Yep. Build that relationship where
not necessarily shame and blame, but really start thinking forward about
help me help you.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, no.
No?
No, I think it's getting to the root of the problem. How can we think about sustainable packaging? How can we look at the problem that you are contributing towards?
Creating. I can say that. I'm not working with you guys.
But I see, so I think the dialogues are starting to be quite interesting. I think that.
But well done for getting in there.
But ultimately, you know, they should be paying for some of these
definitely,
cleanups.
100%. They should be there because you're there cleaning their fucking waste and their shit. Of course, they can say, okay, it's not our problem because we sold it and the individual who bought it is responsible for where it goes. But you're responsible for it not being that biodegradable or it making an effect on the environment and killing animals and fucking everything up.
When you think about a Misada packaging, you know, instant noodles, number 1 biggest polluting actual like individual brand on the island of Bali, and in most Javanese
I'm not surprised.
they're coming up as number 1. You use the packaging for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and it's plastic in plastic.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? There's like 4 plastics within that big plastic thing.
It's multi-layered. It's sachets. You know, and now if you go to most markets or local warongs, everything is multi-layered inside of these small little sachets. So that's our enemy actually that we're trying to battle, because until very recently they're not recyclable. We're doing a lot of R&D as to how we can turn those non-valuable plastics into something of value. I have something to show you.
Yeah, that's what we have actually. I actually thought we might have left it downstairs. I can't see it from here. I was actually freaking out, but we have it.
Yeah, so this is
look at this, guys. This is fucking insane over here.
First chantok from sachets mixed with bottle caps with our partners Potato Head. So this
Shout out to Potato Head as well.
This is our plastic from the river.
Yeah, so this is all the plastics that you go and your cleanups to, and you gather them all, bring them back to your warehouse or your little spots where you fully arrange and sort. So you put them into all different groups. So me there, coffee's there, plastic bottles here, and then when I first started downstairs, I was like, is that a piece of art or something? Look at it though; it's actually amazing.
No, but it's pretty cool. Like this is just a plastic sheet. The size is quite limited, but what if you could create a sheet like this? 2 times 2 meters, and then you could basically laser cut or do anything.
You can do anything with it.
You do furniture with it. You could do
furniture, walls, floors,
anything that is made out of plastic right now. Can be made out of this recycled plastic.
You can build a house out of that, I'm sure, if you really wanted to.
Yeah. So I mean, still a lot of research to be done, but that's something that we're
first prototype.
That's something that we're diving into.
That's amazing.
And then part of what we collect on the river. Which is quite interesting, is plastic bags. They're actually the most contributing item on the list. So plastic bags are not yet fully banned, and I think that in the midst of COVID,
it's tough. It's all those small sellers. Yeah.
How can you I just told you about our programs of going out and socializing the issue. We're only limited to 3 sessions per day. The government has completely turned a blind eye to educating around the ban on plastic bags. And unfortunately, with budget cuts, so much of the budget of waste management has been put back into COVID response. So
that's what I mean. Like, I'm sorry, instead of all those big banners you see everywhere with saying put a mask on, it should be fucking don't use plastic and plastic bags are bad.
Exactly.
That's my personal opinion. Like all those big banners you see, use a mask.
Yes.
Don't do shit.
But
but still wear it.
Back to plastic bags. We have like a mountain of about 12 tons. Of plastic bags. And so this is another product with Potato Head.
Wow. Just hit that maybe for the sound, do a little knuckle thing on it. So see, that's solid.
Super solid, but made from 1 kg of plastic bags. What if we could turn waste, non-valuable waste on the river into sustainable products to build houses, to build bridges, for infrastructural practices.
Amazing. Like that, you can build houses with that. That is basically concrete, but made from plastic. So that's what actually I was going to go into next, is what you actually do once you collect all this and you turn it into fucking amazing products, which is, that's the next step. Like you said, going to the source and then giving solutions already. That's a solution. Like government should already see that and be like, oh, okay, change it all. But obviously doesn't work like that because corporations run our planet.
A lot of R&D in the space. We're excited to be testing out and just starting out, because we have like a regular income stream of plastics just coming in every day from our patrol teams on the river. So now the next step is really, what can we make that can be super scalable?
It's amazing,
real solutions.
It's amazing, brother. Well done. It's exactly. It's a real solution. And if you go next time you get Jockway, make sure that's with you in your backpack. Make sure.
We'll
see. with your teams that you have on the rivers right now, how many people do you have working with you that are river patrol?
River patrols. So we have 10 river patrols.
Okay.
We divide them into teams of 2.
Okay.
We have 3 teams of 2, but we're slowly growing the team. Right now we're 35 people.
Sign up now. Links will be in the description. Get involved.
But so in the midst of COVID, there was this need that a lot of the ex-hospitality workers lost their jobs. So working with some of the ex-Kuta surf boys.
Yeah, the lifeguards as well. No.
Lifeguards are still on patrol. Although there's nobody on the beach. But those guys the guys that would rent the surfboards.
Yeah, that lost
everything. So
and providing job opportunities. Well, come on. What else do you want?
So I mean, there's so much work needed, and hopefully through river cleanup we can
perseverance, man. Just keep going. You're killing it. So we're gonna go into some crazy facts here, just to show and give awareness to the viewers. I'm sure you guys are already familiar and bored of facts, but it's good to just put them out there to put into perspective for some people, because talking sometimes doesn't get into their brain. So by 2050, there'll be more plastic in the ocean than fish, which you said previously. If you process that's really fucked up, because we live on a planet Earth where animals have been here before us. You know, that is their home. Fish, that is part of our ecosystem, and I'm pretty sure if you take that out of the equation, it's gonna fuck up the whole diversity of how we live, because it's a food cycle. So more plastic than fish. Wow, that's.
I mean, in many ways, we've become generation plastic. Yeah, like
it's.
We all have plastics in our stomach, in our bloodstream, in
Sushi,
our brain.
all that stuff. Like you got it all has some microplastics in it. Yeah, for sure.
But just I mean, you have a good story with fish.
Yeah, but I want to hear the facts. That
okay.
Okay. I'm like, okay, tell us.
1 million plastic bottles are bought a minute around the world. Like what?
Yeah.
And out of that 1 million plastic bottles, I'm pretty sure you could 60 to 80% of that does end up somehow in the street or in the forest or in the river. Definitely a high percentage of that isn't going into a recycled foundation of some sort. 2 million plastic bags are used a minute around the world. Like, Jesus Christ. It's insane. Plastic is killing over 1.1 million seabirds and other animals every year. It just shocks me every time I read it. About 8.3 billion tons of plastic has been produced since 1950s. The weight of roughly 1 billion elephants and 47 billion blue whales. Wow. Yeah. Blue whale is like, how big is a blue whale? 47 billion blue whales. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. May we hop onto your little plastic fish story?
Yeah, I mean, but, okay, I can tell you the plastic fish story, and then I'll tell you something about what, because a lot of those facts were about the natural world and how it affects,
No, please share your, this is just some...
No. And they're super interesting as well. But the fish story, I live in a small village 100 meters from the beach, a lot of us do here on Bali. And there's a big fisherman community. So one day I went and bought fish, brought it home, prepared it. And on the table with our family, we opened it up and out came like thick pieces of plastic. Like,
of course, you had to get the fish with the plastic in it. She was like, yes, Instagram story.
But it was, it was like horrible. Like,
of course.
It was something that you found at, like on your childhood beach, and it was like directly on your table, and it was like, God, it was like a punch in the gut, kind of like, we're not doing enough, And actually, to speak to that point, currently all of the ambition or like the goals that are being set by both government and corporates will only reduce plastic pollution by 6%.
What?
Yeah.
6%, like.
Right, so we're not even making a dent.
No, you're not. Like 6% might as well be 0%.
Nothing is as bold enough, and yet we see a lot of like headlines and celebrations, and like we're doing this by 2050, we're doing this by 2030, we're doing this by 2025, and it's like, what are we doing now, guys? We don't have time. And so that's like, again, going back to the frustration, but even more to that point of like, the facts and figures a little bit closer to home in our own health.
No, yeah, definitely.
Every single week, no matter where you are in the world, a study came out that said we're ingesting 5 grams of plastic. So a credit card's worth, if you need a visual.
So you might as well swallow a credit card.
You're ingesting that amount of plastic into you every single week.
Wow.
So it's in our bloodstream. It's part of, it's affecting our
we are
everyday
plastic
life.
at this point.
And that's where, like, I think I'm not a numbers person at all. I don't I can't.
I'm with you.
And I'm like 1 million, and the it's so big numbers.
A number is just a number at the end of the day.
And then when someone tells you that, like, you're ingesting a credit card's worth of plastic, 5 grams.
It just puts it to perspective, like, wow.
You're like, hang on a second, what?
Yeah.
So it's I just thought I'd share that with you, but
no, that's crazy. I'm even shocked still now.
I mean, so like our work on the rivers, we're collecting, but more just keeps on coming. And how do you we're a tiny drop, right? Like our work feels completely useless when you look at the millions of tons, 8 million tons of plastics enter our ocean. So it's like every single year, and it's like, what the,
What's that area in this international sea where there's just plastic? Do you know what
it's called the Pacific Gyre?
Yeah, that's it. Where is that located in?
It's not really it's not really located somewhere. It's moving with sea currents.
It moves with sea currents and but there's that patch of just fucking plastic, in the sea.
In 2010 or so, when researchers were doing a lot of research on plastic pollution and the gyres, they looked at these 5 gyres that existed around the world. But now research has shown that it doesn't just stay there. It's not a plastic island. It's everywhere, and it's becoming smaller and smaller. The longer it stays in the ocean.
Pieces. So
it's just not together.
Visually, you'd imagine that there's kind of chunk of floating plastic that comes.
It's still
together
there.
In
It's
the
just
middle
spread
of the
out everywhere.
And now it's like what Gary's saying. It's not just these 5 specific gyres. It's like becoming plastic in almost every square meter of the ocean. You'll be able to find
just
a
scoop
net of
something
microplastics.
Wow.
Things like that. I mean. Yeah, it's just very.
And the more expeditions there is, the more signs. There's not one place around the world that doesn't have signs of plastic, and that's just the reality of the problem.
Yeah.
The furthest islands away from humanity, out in Midway Island, that's furthest from any continent on Earth.
There's plastic.
Has these beautiful albatross birds that come and nest every single year.
I saw this on David Attenborough.
Yeah,
I saw this.
And so many of them come back and feed their little ones with plastics inside their stomachs. And we have a friend, Chris Jordan. He did this beautiful documentary where he stayed 7 years on Midway Island to study the albatross. And he was just seeing year after year just progression of more birds dying from plastics. So this is a serious issue. And when you start looking at how are we going to solve this, I think that in our generation, I think it's still possible to do it, but it needs to happen fast.
It has to happen now. We gotta get on it.
Now more than ever, I think the rivers are where we need to start to focus on.
It's a source.
It's the most immediate. Yeah, you're not gonna if you have a
clean river, the ocean will be clean because all rivers lead to the ocean.
If your sink in your bathroom, leaks, you're not gonna start sweeping the floor. You're gonna turn off the tap. So we have to turn off the tap. On solutions
to fucking knock that tap
way
back.
Quicker.
Remove the tap.
The interesting thing as well is yes, there's this urgency. Yes, a lot of people are active in the field, but what we also need to start changing as the global narrative is that it's not going to be one solution that fits everything. It's not going to be one organization that fixes the problem. It has to be a
collective of everyone,
collaborative, multilateral solution to fix this overall global crisis of plastic pollution.
Definitely.
And I think there's so many players in the field that it's going to take a long time for us to have one unified voices without ego, without
money,
naming
without
and shaming, without pushing people down to get to the top just for recognition, or without government getting in the way, lack of funding being an issue. So yeah, I think it's just the important thing for everybody to remember is that there's not one solution or one way that we're going to fix this.
We're all in it together.
At the moment, the biggest environmental body that sort of puts everybody in one cap is the Paris Agreement, the Paris Accord. It took 10 years for that to be designed, so
it shouldn't have taken 10 years for that. That's something you
just
can come up with, like you say, in a month. If everyone sits together, even a week.
Yeah.
So now, when you look at plastic pollution at the February big UN summit for the environment next February 2022, they want to sign the Global Treaty on Plastic Pollution Action. And so now we have a year left, a little bit less than a year, and it's conferences after conferences after conference. With big CEOs.
Signatures. That's what I mean. Who the fuck are signing these signatures? You know what I mean? You don't need to sign no paper. Just fucking do it.
Well, I think there needs to be a good understanding, and even one of the frustrating things I remember starting out with bioplastic bags is people couldn't even agree on the terminology that was being used.
Oh my God! It doesn't matter.
What actually is bioplastic? What actually is? But I think
that's politics.
But it also shows that there's a gap in understanding, and if there is a gap in understanding, there's no ability of us to be clear in the goal that we want to achieve because nobody agrees.
Exactly.
And so I think that there needs to be a base, but I think we have to set a timeline as well. When is learning time done? When is homework time done?
When is productive time done?
Action?
When is meeting time done? Yeah.
And what are the consequences? Because that's
consequence of action.
The beautiful thing about these conferences is that for some reason and for an incredible amount of important people are under one roof.
Yeah.
And they're all sitting there to sign one agreement. But we have millions of agreements. The problem is, how do you implement that agreement outside of the four walls of the conference? How do you make Made and Ketut know about this agreement? Mm-hmm. How do you get their signatures on the agreement that they themselves commit to making that change? Because otherwise, it's a beautiful agreement with beautiful snapshots, a great viral
but no
thing
actual
that
meaning or
everybody
a purpose.
celebrates.
Yeah.
But no, and if we don't achieve those targets, what are the consequences? And not to say like that we have to, you know, shame or pull the government down, but it's again the lack of transparency in progress. I think we have to take more pride in being transparent in progress, whether we achieve the targets or not. But if you're more clear with the communication, the storytelling of the challenges, of the successes, then imagine you catch someone's attention in the audience and they're like, oh, you have that challenge, I have the solution for you, let me work with you. But currently we have no idea how we're achieving that. There is no mass, again, education, transparency, communication, storytelling, so that we're able to accelerate change. We're kind of just celebrating or setting goals and a roadmap without understanding the day-to-day changes that need to happen.
Preach. Straight up. Preach. I don't know what else to say to that. I want to quickly go into Sam, your brother, because we can't have him here, but we're for sure. I spoke to him actually the other day. When he gets back, we're gonna for sure run an episode because he's another amazing person. He actually ran from New York to LA or LA to New York? New York to LA.
New York to LA.
New York to
Yes.
LA. He ran from New York to LA for plastic awareness. No.
Exactly.
So maybe you have a bit more detail than me, or you know the facts more. If you want to explain a little bit, like he started off when? How long ago was it?
Cool, yeah. So he started in July of 2019, finished on February 1st. It took him 119 days to run across the US.
119 days running for plastic
running
awareness.
One marathon every single day.
Wow.
So you'd have
I remember calling him on the I would call him every like 2 weeks or 1 week. Like, you just give him that moral support, you know, like we're here for you in Bali, like we love you, keep going, brother. Like fuck, but that to me is amazing because that just shows, like you said, putting it into like that credit card analogy, just putting it into analogy of running from New York to like shows like, you know, like come on, I'm doing this. Fucking corporations do something. It shouldn't take you 10 years to fucking make that agreement.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
sorry, go.
I think that expedition was really a metaphor to show
exactly
that cry for help to politicians. You know, we've gone down the most polluted river in the world. We've run across an entire continent.
New York to LA, like you know how far that is. Like
we need action right now. And so Sam's journey was also poetic in that, you know, every step he took was a step closer to a plastic-free world.
Yeah.
So he was meeting with governors, with schools.
He had Mike Posner join him as well on the run. Like he got gifted what an amazing apartment at the end from what's his name, Ryan something.
Ryan Serhant.
Ryan Serhant, real estate agent in New York.
Exactly.
What was that building he got that apartment in?
So after the run, he applied to this YouTube contest put forward by Ryan Serhant, Dude with Sign, the guy that goes around Instagram with a sign. And Casey Neistat, another YouTuber. Of
course.
And and then he applied out of 28,000 people. They came to surprise him in the Californian desert.
See, that just shows though, he deserved that. He 150% deserved that. No one else deserved that after him, what he did. Like, so that just shows, you know, like it will come around to you, karma. But yeah, shout out to you, Sam, man. We miss you. We'll have you on back. Fucking legend. A little thing I was thinking about as well is maybe if we could push something towards the government or the Banjars here in Bali, if we could go for something, one day a year where we try push a policy where it is cleanup day. So everyone gets a day of school, everyone gets a day of work. I know it's hard, I know it's aiming for the stars, but if you could have that one day per year, just per year, where everyone could like do it on an international level where it's broadcasted, where it's shown, you know, like Nippy kind of. And then each Banjar competes against each other because humans love competition. That's what makes them do shit. To show like, look, this Banjar's collected the most rubbish out of this area. I think if we could push something towards that, you guys know more. This is just something I came up with. But is that possible? Is that something, or you know what I mean by that though?
Well, Melati is doing it every day.
Every day. That's what I mean. But to do it to get everyone involved, like, you know, like it's like if you put it out there saying like, okay, you get a day off, but you have to clean your area, or you have to clean your beach, or you have to clean your river, or you have to go to you guys and help. I think that would be definitely, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been doing it for the last 5 years on one day, February, like the second week of February, we host one day. It's along the lines of the National Waste Day.
Okay, perfect.
In Indonesia. And what we do with One Island, One Voice is Bali's biggest cleanup.
Okay.
And that's where we've now over the last 5 years mobilized about 70,000 people.
Wow.
And, you know, we kind of encourage them just to go out there in that one symbolic day, because cleanups are a good tool of awareness. They're not a solution, right? That's what Gary was talking about.
That's what I mean. It's awareness.
Like, it's awareness, but it's a good way to get people involved, get their hands dirty, be part of this problem, and then see how they can be part of the solution. So every year we do that, and we mobilized over like 400 locations on Bali alone. But the thing is, I think it's just a symbolic, iconic event at this moment.
I think
but you're doing it already. So what's the date? February 22nd?
21st is the National Waste Day.
February 21st, everyone. That's a day you fucking drop your shit and you make a change. Definitely. So, is there any quick links or just websites you guys have or anything you wanna quickly shout out before we wrap this up? Just to put out there for the audience.
Yep. Yeah. For us, it's buybyplasticbags.org and youthtopia.world.
Okay. Buybyplasticbags.org, youthtopia.world. All the links will be in the description. Everything will be there for you to check out. Make sure you check it out because it is definitely worth it.
And for us, Gary, it's makeitchange.world.
Makeitchange.world.
As a website. And then we do not yet have a Sungaiwatch website, but
it's in process.
go to our Instagram,
Sungaiwatch, and Instagram, Make It Change World. Same with your guys' Instagram, all the same. All right, perfect. I just want to do a little quick fire question round for. It's not really linked to plastic and everything, but just a little question thing I like to do with my guest.
Okay.
You go first, Melati. If that's okay.
Okay.
If you could change one thing right now in the world, what would it be?
Right now, it's the education industry.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you want me to elaborate or just.
No. You've elaborated enough. It's just
good.
Education thing. Okay, perfect. One place you want to visit before you die.
One place I want to visit before I die. Oh my god. I definitely want to go to New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah.
And just
amazing scenery there. Yeah, wildlife. Yeah. Good answer. One thing to do before you die.
One thing to do before I die.
Or accomplish.
Ooh.
Well, just I say.
I was gonna kind of say skydiving, which is the weirdest thing because I never said that because I'm also afraid of heights and planes. But I think it's a good accomplishment to kind of just have that moment of free falling and letting.
I want to do skydiving. I know I'll fucking shit myself. I want to do it.
I don't know if I'm actually gonna do it, so I don't know if that was the answer, but that's something on my list.
I saw a thing with Will Smith actually where he went skydiving for the first time and he said you'll really understand what fear is and how fear is just an illusion once you go skydiving because you feel like you are going to die and then you jump off and you're like okay I'm good. It's that's one thing it's on my bucket list as well for sure. One thing you do daily.
Create my to-do list.
Perfect. That's a smart one. That's goal setting. That's goal setting. That's good. I do the same honestly. One thing you do weekly.
Is saying a beach walk unfair?
No.
Every week.
I think that's
you do it more often.
Yeah, beach walks.
Beach walks, good. It's a good one to do. One thing you always wanted to learn.
The Spanish language. I know I should say French anyway. The Spanish language.
If you could set up one dream collab with any company or individual to work with your company, who would it be or what would it be and why?
I'm going to be very consistent in my answers and say the Ministry of Education here in Indonesia because I want to revolutionize that and I want to make sure that every young person feels like they know what's going on and how they can be a part of positive change.
Amazing. Say that one more time. No, I'm joking. Okay, Mr. Gary, one place to visit before you die.
I think it'd be a clean Chitarum River.
Yeah.
I
love it. He was planning that one while she was saying.
You were listening.
I had a little bit more time to think about.
I got you, bro. Don't worry.
Keep them coming.
Clean Chitarum River. Perfect. I'll be there with you, bro.
Yeah, bro.
One thing to do before you die.
Wow, that's a difficult one. I think I probably
clean all the rivers in Bali.
One thing to do. Well, I'd love to clean the Ganges. That's
nice.
That's a pretty hard.
Jesus Christ, that goal right there, bro. That's like, I'm going to Mars. I'll see you there. You got it, bro. If anyone's gonna do it, it's you. One thing you do daily. Clean rivers.
This is a river conversation. Just go and bathe in a dirty river. That's probably something I do every day.
One thing you do weekly.
When I can, I try to get a massage and calm down.
Nice. Get all that shit off. Okay, one thing you always wanted to learn. I love how he looks at her. He's like,
something I wanted to learn. Probably how to dance. I really don't know how to dance.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not the best dancer as well, bro. I'll do some salsa classes or something.
There you go, dude. Take me out of the river.
Some
and teach
tango,
me
bro.
how to dance.
You gotta stay in the river, bro.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
important. We'll dance in the river. How about that?
Dude, big party coming up in 3 weeks. Lauren Lane.
I'm there.
Dedicate.
I got
Do
you
your
involved,
introduction.
bro.
Do your introduction.
Perfect. We're making change slowly. I can contribute somehow.
There you go.
If you could meet with anyone in the world to make a change, who would it be and why? You've already met the president of Indonesia. That's,
I think, I'd be
the owner of Indomie.
probably one of the CEOs of the big corporates and show them the biggest polluter of plastic in the world, which is Coca-Cola. So try to get
What's
them
Coca-Cola?
to change.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could set up one dream collaboration with Sungaiwatch, it can be with another company or it could be with an individual.
Right.
What are you choosing or who are you choosing?
I think it'd be cool to partner up with Elon Musk.
Nice. Good one.
Try to
Good
scale
answer.
up and back.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Elon, you heard it here first, guys.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure hearing you guys speak and being involved with what you guys are doing. So I just want to say thank you so much. Terima kasih banyak.
Thank
Suksema.
you, Kai.
Keep killing it. Keep making a change. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all their stuff because please, trust me, just do it. Everything will be in the description. That's it, Kaizai episode 6. Thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. See you soon. Ciao. Perfect.
Lovely.
Well
Oh
done,
my
guys.
gosh, that's
How was it?
so
Good?